Yes? That's all. Thank you. Jeffrey London's fingerprints are definitely those of Sir Eric Hazarias. The fact, gentlemen, that Sir Eric is still alive adds to the difficulties of establishing world peace.
The United Nations Council should be warned immediately.
Wouldn't that be a mistake?
Why?
The man can't be arrested on a criminal charge. He's been too clever. And we can't get help to Staten. Pendrang will be completely isolated, even by air, for the next 4 or 5 months.
You were right about Malborn and Sir Eric Hazarias.
In Pendrang, Sir Eric Hazarias is known as Jeffrey London. Remember next time.
Jeffrey London, then. Those two would have got rid of Stanton in the casino if I hadn't stopped it.
Saving Stanton was good strategy. We may need him.
I thought it was a good idea myself, but it didn't work. Stanton headed into the jungle.
Into the jungle? I could protect him here in Zalabar, but not out there.
The tribesmen wanted to punish him for the destruction of the temples. If they catch up with him, it'll mean the lion pit.
Thanks, Tal. For a minute, I thought I was...
That can come later. Right now, we've got to get out of here.
Hello, Marjorie.
I meet the nicest people in the strangest places.
If we don't move on, we're likely to meet some not so nice.
I don't think it wise for me to go back to Dr. Elmore's with you.
Oh, our tribesmen are friendly, Rod.
A careless word from one of them to the wrong person, and your father may be in trouble.
Did you say you were going to the expedition when you were captured?
Yes. You think your father'd mind coming into Zalabar tomorrow?
I think he'd be glad to. That'll give him a chance to talk to Mr. London.
Fine. Show him what I have to say is very important.
All right, Rod. We may as well get started.
Good morning, Doc.
This is the first time I've been up at this hour in ages, so I wouldn't know.
Coffee? You know, I've been doing considerable thinking since last night.
About Malborn, Hazarias, and Stanton?
Yes, but at the moment, Sir Eric and Malborn are the immediate problem.
They certainly have something up their sleeves, Indra. Why should Sir Eric have come here under the name of Jeffrey London? And why should Malborn have agreed to pay you 1/3 of all of his profits without an argument? Profits from what?
From something connected with the archaeological expedition's search for the fabled lost city of the jungle. We've got to find out what that something is.
Greb is Sir Eric's man, but not that archaeologist. Dr. Elmore's honest, so is his daughter.
I'm sure of all that, but I'm also sure that Malvern doesn't trust me any further than I trust him.
The fewer people you trust, the less chance you have of being double-crossed. That's one of the reasons for his success. Yours, too.
Very true. But my success depends upon my power and control over the tribesmen. Now, Malvern knows that I agreed to the destruction of the temples.
On the other hand, you're probably one of the few people in the world who knows that Sir Eric is only a front for this Malborn.
That's what they call a stalemate. I threaten them, but they threaten me.
I know, but what are you going to do about it?
Let the expedition search the ruins of the Pendrang temples for some clue to the legendary statue of the glowing goddess.
But what about Stanton? The tribesmen didn't get him because he's back in Zalaba.
He's an agent of the United Peace Foundation. He's been after Sir Eric for a long time, without realizing that Malvern's the man he's looking for. Why do anything about him?
I'll get word to Sir Eric right away.
Anything exciting on the air, Kurtz?
Just routine news.
This inactivity, Sir Eric, may cost us dearly. Scientists are working all over the world to find means of controlling the atomic bomb.
Well, we have the advantage, Gaffer. You know how to defend against it. They are still trying to find a way.
Knowing and doing are two different things. Until you get me some Meteorium, I cannot do any more.
Rest assured, nothing is going to stop me from getting that element. Many nations will scramble to buy a device that makes the atomic bomb a thing of the past. Read this.
Yes, this is more like it. Permission to go into the ruins. Forgive me, I underestimate you.
Something has caused Indra to change her mind. Last night she was very emphatic that we would not be allowed into the ruins unless she was told exactly what we expected to find.
Well, could Stanton and she be working together?
Well, if they are, they're in for a sad awakening. Once we have Meteorium in our possession, Indra's going to be taught a lesson.
Grab is calling, sir.
Yes, Greg.
Dr. Elmore and his daughter have just left to go into town to meet Rod Stanton.
Why, do you know?
Well, he didn't confide in me, and naturally I couldn't ask him point blank. But I've arranged to stop the meeting from taking place, at least temporarily.
Well, sooner or later, Dr. Elmore's going to find out who I am.
The old fool will quit when he does, and we need him to translate the hieroglyphics we're finding.
Stanton won't let him quit. He can check on us through Elmore. On the other hand, if you win Elmore's confidence, we can use him to check on Stanton.
I'm not so sure.
Well, I am. See to that nobody interferes with Dr. Elmore and his daughter keeping that appointment.
I meant to ask you before, Marjorie. What do you know about this man, Stanton?
As a matter of fact, very little. But he seems quite nice.
Elmore and his daughter got a pretty good start on us. We'll get them before they reach Zalabar.
That car behind seems to be following us.
Fortunate I got here in time to keep those two men from robbing you.
It certainly was, Grip.
I didn't know highway robbery was a popular sport in Pendrang.
The men probably lost all they had gambling at the casino and are trying to get some money.
After this, I'll carry a gun.
What would you do with one, Dad? You wouldn't know how to use it.
I'll learn.
I don't think you'll run into any more trouble, but just to make sure, I'll follow you into town.
Thanks. Hello, Marjorie.
Hello, Rod.
Nice of you to come, Dr. Elmore.
Well, Dad gave me quite an argument.
I'm glad you persuaded him. When you work on hieroglyphics, you dislike interruption, that's all.
Won't you sit down?
Marjorie said that you had an important matter to discuss with me, Mr. Stanton. Very important. You know who's financing your archaeological expedition?
Are you serious?
Never more so in my life. Jeffrey London. That's what I thought you'd say. Did you ever hear of Sir Eric Hazarias? Who hasn't? Why? He's backing you. Oh, my dear young man, I just told you it was Jeffrey London. Jeffrey London is Sir Eric Hazarias.
Rod, you can't mean that.
I most certainly do. Well, the two men bear no resemblance to each other, whatever. I've seen pictures of Sir Eric.
Rod wouldn't say it was so unless he had proof.
Sad you're making monkeys out of us, Grab.
Yeah, we're following your orders and keeping Elmore from getting into town, then you turn up and start shooting. That don't make sense.
I had to change my plans and couldn't reach you. Anyway, none of my bullets came anywhere near you.
Yeah, maybe so. But it would have been a nice fix if Elmore and the girls started shooting.
Neither of them carried guns. I knew that.
Okay, what do we do now?
Go over to Tal Shan's hotel. If Tal and Rod go out after Dr. Elmore leaves, follow them. Find out where they're going and make sure they don't get back.
Okay.
And just before your arrival, confirmation came in special code from the Peace Foundation by radio that the fingerprints of Jeffrey London are identical with those of Sir Eric Hazarias. I asked for proof and you gave it to me. Still somewhat of a shock.
Naturally, you had every reason to trust Jeffrey London.
Of course, there's only one thing for me to do now. Resign. I wish you wouldn't do that, Dr. Elmore. An archaeologist must be an important cog in Sir Eric's machine.
Rod's right, Dad.
You want me to continue on as though I know nothing? Yes, and in that way, we have a very good chance of finding out what he's really after. Some element, I believe, needed to perfect a supersonic wave device. That could explain his interest in the possibility that the statue of the glowing goddess is fact instead of legend.
What did the hieroglyphics on the tablet say about it?
They indicate that the statue did exist, and that it was originally somewhere in the Pendrang temples.
That's why Sir Eric was so disappointed when Indra refused us permission to search the ruins.
He'd be more disappointed if he knew that Tal Shan had discovered an entrance to a tunnel that apparently has been sealed off for generations. I'd like to see that tunnel. You'll probably have the opportunity as soon as Tal and I investigate it.
Well, we won't keep you then.
Elmore must have been doing some looking on his own account.
Yeah, and some talking, too.
Shall we flip for it? I'll take this one.
All right.
They may have separated here.
Yeah, they may not.
We'll stick together.